A critical 24 hours for the cryptocurrency market. One side believes they're going to pump to oblivion. The other side thinks we are going to dump. We're going to try and break down some key things you need to be aware of as to exactly what is going to happen in the next 24 hours and some very interesting charts that, well, show us what happened in the past. This could be an extremely optimistic and bullish time for cryptocurrency. So get ready, strap in, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's talk about this video. So worth noting, today has been a challenge. And I talked about this yesterday in my Bitcoin update video in the sentiment that when we see the elections narrowing, the gap between Trump and Harris starting to come together, you are going to see volatility in the market. Lots of people are trying to predict what's going to happen. Lots of people are hedging bets. We actually even saw a $3 million sell on Polymarket to bring the odds even closer. I'm not saying manipulation, but I'm saying some of these betting odds, you can't truly rely on it. The fact of the matter is no one really knows. But to give you some context, in the last 24 hours, over $162 million worth of Bitcoin has been shorted, particularly around Bitcoin itself, Ethereum with a chunk of change, and a few others. You can see there some significant volumes on the shorts. So what have we got that's important to think about? Well, the reality is BTC Dominance continues to grow. We actually saw it break above that critical zone that around the 60.54 mark and is continuing. This means institutional adoption is still here for Bitcoin, but altcoins you're probably thinking are getting absolutely ruined right now. But interestingly, you can see it here. Look at how dominant BTC is. That is the orange box right at the very bottom. And again, the yellow box. And what you can see is this is growing. Now, this is a good thing in the adoption of Bitcoin. This should push the price of Bitcoin up. But if you're in an altcoin position, it's going to be a bit more challenging. Doesn't mean there isn't going to be an altcoin rally. It just means it's going to take that little bit longer. But when we talk about history repeating, well, like we've always said, it doesn't necessarily repeat, but it often simply rhymes. And this is kind of where we get to over the past, 4 bull markets that we've seen going back pretty much in November of most years. It says, take a look at the BTC chart since and from 2012. There were 3 US presidential elections, each 1 week candle, which contains elections marked an absolute bottom and the beginning of the bullish market. That is said for every single election that we've had. Back in 2012, the 1 week candle closed at $11. I mean, imagine buying Bitcoin at that price, and then led to a 10,000% pump. Back in 2016, the 1 week candle closed at 742, led to 2,500. And back in 2020, the 1 week candle closed at 15,400 and led to a 400% pump. Now, if you take that mathematics from a reality standpoint, it's going to be what, 100% maybe if you go on history, maybe even slightly less. But it says now in 24, 1 week candle has all the chances to close in the $68,000 to $70,000 range. That can be a new bottom and will never be broken down again. Now, if you think about that in terms of where we are as a chart analysis, and we'll go into the 3-day chart just because I think it gives a little bit better perspective of where we sit. But if you were to say, well, the market does 100% move, you are starting to get to kind of where I think we're probably going to be around, which is around that $135,000 to $138,000 mark. I actually think it'll be a little bit further than that, but very interesting overall. And again, the election is going to be a key sentiment. Policy, economic data, and much more is going to significantly drive the market and give us a view as to exactly where it goes. Experts are predicting a couple of key sentiments though, and that is around when and what is about to happen. The general consensus for the markets is that if a Republican victory is good for risk assets, and the less so if there is a Democratic victory. Bitfinex analysts did explain that we expect volatility to be high in the first 10 days of November, leading up to and following the election, with the possibility of either a sell the news event or buying climax resulting in a large move up. So either way you could look at it, the reality is we are set in for some pretty volatile times. And again, it won't be for a while until we see it settle down. If you were to take a look at how previous performances have done, go all the way back to 2020, we saw a massive 168% gain in Bitcoin and 104% gain in Ethereum. Go back to 2016, 58% gain in Bitcoin and a slightly less gain, 41% down on Ethereum. Now, where are we sitting right now? 6.66% gain. If you're superstitious, think about that. And November holding around a 3.7 negative at the minute. This, again, is absolutely just the beginning. So if you take a look at the price of Bitcoin, actually had a nice bounce back from the low here of around 66,800. My panic zone will be around here. If this drops, we're going to have to retest this. That now will become support as opposed to resistance where we broke through this. We do know we've tested it twice before, which gave us the significant bounce. The reality here is what happens at X. When we come into this point, The question mark is what happens. Do institutionals buy? Interestingly enough, BlackRock buying nothing today when it comes to those ETFs. And actually we saw ARK21 buying a little bit, nothing too crazy out there. So we know that institutional investment is just waiting to see what happens. And that's not a bad play. If you are in that same boat, by the way, then let's see what happens. We'll be live on YouTube tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be probably doing an extended show. So do come and join us to get all the latest updates around what's going on with the election and, more importantly, what's going on in the cryptocurrency market and everything else. So let me know. What do you think in the comments down below? Who is your pick for the 2024 US election? And what do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? I'm certainly interested to get your views, and we'll be reading some of those comments out live on my show tomorrow night. So do come and join us. And as always, if you enjoyed this type of content, hit that like button, smash it up to all-time highs, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Take care.